A lot of you asked me to make a YouTube video about how to study Chinese from the very beginning, and here I am, guys, making this video for you. I'll be explaining everything, like what to do. I'll give you some resources that you can use and everything that you'll need so you won't feel lost like I did when I started Chinese, okay? So without wasting any more time, let's go straight into it. The first thing that I need you to know is that Chinese does not have alphabets like English, Spanish, Arabic, Korean, any other existing language. Most of them have alphabets, but Chinese does not have alphabets. I don't know if there is another language like Chinese that do not have alphabets, but for me, the only language I know is Chinese. So instead of using alphabets, they use characters, and each character or two characters with each other, they make a word. So the system works with words instead of alphabets. But as someone that do not speak Chinese, if you see the characters, you would not understand what they are talking about or how to read them and everything. So there are some specific alphabets that we use as beginners to understand the characters, to know how to pronounce them, just for the beginning, okay? These specific or special alphabets, we call them Pinyin, and they are basically the English, the French alphabets. What do you call them? Let me search it. Okay, silly me. So we call them the Latin alphabets. So these pinyin are basically the Latin alphabets that help us to read the characters, Chinese characters, okay? Some of these pinyin or some of these alphabets we do not have as English or Arabic or French speakers, so we need to learn how to pronounce them. For example, we have zhi, chi, shi. So we don't have as English speakers or Arabic speakers these kind of letters, so we need to memorize them and learn how to pronounce them correctly. To learn the pinyin, you have two choices. You have basically one choice is YouTube. It's the best for everything. I like to recommend YouTube channels for everything. I don't really use applications a lot, maybe sometimes for specific usages, but most of the time I like to use YouTube, so it has everything. So you have one option, YouTube. If you are an English speaker, you can watch this video here. And if you are an Arabic speaker, you can watch this video here. So this is the first step that you need to do if you want to learn the Chinese language. The second thing that you need to know or understand is that Chinese is a tonal language. Not most of the languages that we know is a tonal language. For me, I only know Chinese and Thai. They are tonal language. What do we mean by tonal language? Tonal language is a language that uses tones. What is tones? It's like music, basically like music. So for music, we have do, re, mi, fa, something similar. In Chinese, we have four tones, which are a, 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 so these are four tones. I believe in Thai there are five or more, I don't know. So for example, if we have the word ma, M-A, ma, we have four versions of ma. So each version has a different meaning and it's a different word. For example, we have ma, 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 ma. So these are totally different, okay? So you need to understand the difference between the four tones, okay? I say okay a lot, I don't know why. Go with me. Okay, now we go to the resources. If you want to learn the tones, you can watch this video here. For English, I'll try to include English and Arabic all the time, okay? So this is for English and this is for Arabic speakers. One tip for the tones, try to associate the tone with something in your native language. For example, with the second tone, which is a, ma, ba, for this tone, I like to associate it with a question, like what? Who? You see, it's like a question. So I like to associate it with a question to don't mix it with the other tones. You can do the same with the other tones. Try to find something familiar to you in your native language or in a language that you speak and try to associate it with it. So think about it when you want to say this tone, okay? After finishing these two things, congratulations, you can officially start the HSK1. You may ask, what is HSK1? So in Chinese, the level system, we call it HSK, which is the exam level for the Chinese language. There are two versions for the HSK, the old version and the new version. For me, I'm using the old version because I'm on the 4th level and it didn't came out yet with the new level. For the new level, I guess we only have level 1, 2, 3. Basically, there are 6 levels in the old version. In the new version, I guess there are 9 levels, but the new version is better because they switch things and they change it a little bit to fit or suit like the daily life in China much more, because China has changed a lot during the years. They improved in the technology and all of these kind of things, so they change it to fit much better. Okay, I tend to say okay a lot, I guess, because I'm a teacher, so when I explain things, I say okay to make sure that my students do understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, sorry. So when you start the HSK1, here I have the HSK4 book. I don't have the HSK1 book because I use a PDF version. So you don't need to buy the books for the beginning. You can start with the PDF version for HSK1. And then when you reach HSK2, you can start buying the books. We have 2 books. We have the textbook and we have the workbook. So the textbook is basically the lessons. The workbook is just some exercises and something similar to what will happen in the HSK1 or HSK exam. So it's better to practice with it. After starting the HSK1, you can either find a teacher that will basically teach you everything. So you can study in a group or individual by yourself. If you don't want to do this, like myself, I like to study alone. I don't like to study with teachers. So you can find YouTube channels that explain the HSK1. For myself, I use this channel or this playlist. I only use it for the HSK1. I didn't like the teacher in the HSK2 because they changed the teacher. So I only studied HSK1 with it because at the beginning things are different and confusing. So I used this playlist. But for the HSK2, 3, and now 4, I'm just studying by myself, reading the textbook, and if I don't get any a specific grammar, I look for it in this channel. Mostly this channel. Sometimes they do not have all the grammar points, so I just search the grammar point on the YouTube and watch any video that explains it. To have a good schedule for studying, try to do 2 lessons per week. So for example, today you can learn a new lesson. Tomorrow you can do the workbook for this lesson, and after it you can do some listening or reading practice. I'll show you where you can do this, and then you can have 1 day rest, or you can do anything, maybe watch some YouTube videos just for the sake of it, and then after it you can do another lesson, and so on. So these are 7 days a week, so it's a good program. One tip that I want to give you is focus on the Chinese characters Hanzi from the beginning. In the HSK1 and HSK2, you're not obligated to study the Hanzi. You'll find Pinyin in everything, all the texts, all the examples, everything. So you don't need to memorize the Hanzi. But for the 3rd level, you won't see any Hanzi. Any Pinyin, only for the new characters. So try to focus on the Hanzi or the Chinese characters from the beginning, so you won't have any problem later on. For the Hanzi or for the Chinese characters, I like to use this application. It's called Plico, and it's basically a dictionary, but you can see how the characters written and etc. For the Chinese characters, we have a system that we need to follow. For example, we go from top to bottom, we go from left to right, etc. Okay, so you need to use the correct stroke order. The stroke is, you see these lines in the characters, these kind of lines? Each one we call a stroke. So for the Chinese character, for one character, you need to follow a specific stroke order, okay? It'll be confusing at first, but then you'll get used to it and you know how to write a character even if you don't really know how the stroke order goes. But because you're used to it, you'll get it right. To memorize the characters, you can either write them on a paper like I do have here. Oh, no, these are not for character memorization, but you can do something similar like this. So you can have papers like this. I'll give you this PDF in the, what do you call it? What do you call it? I don't know the terms for YouTube. What do you call it? The description? Yeah. So I'll give you this PDF or this paper in the description. So you can print it and use it for the Chinese characters writing. Yeah. So you can write it like this. I use this for writing examples, so you can use it any way you want. So this is the first method that you can use to memorize the Chinese characters. The second method that you can use is Anki. Anki use system repetition, which give you the word all the characters multiple times until you memorize it. I'm going to make another video for specifically for Anki and how to use it for the Chinese characters and basically how to use it with learning languages, so stay tuned for it. Okay, now let's go for reading and listening. Try to practice reading and listening from the beginning. Don't neglect them, okay? So try to focus on them as well from the beginning. For reading, I like this website. I use this website. And also I started to use a book. It's not really accessible online. You need to buy it either PDF or like a real book, but it's this one. I like it much more than the websites because the websites, sometimes they mess things up. It's not really good, but it's good for practice, like it's free. So this book is much better than the website. So you can have this book in all levels. So if you can use it, it's much better. Now let's go for listening. Listening is the most boring thing that I can do in learning Chinese. For the beginning, you have just a little vocabularies. So the topics that they talk about in the listening practice is not really interesting, so it's kind of boring for me, but we still need to do it, right? So the best resource for listening for me is this channel. You can find all kind of levels in here. I love this channel, so I use it for the beginner level, and now I'm using it for the low intermediate because I'm not really intermediate yet. So I'm using it for the low intermediate, but I'm almost done with it, so I can go to the intermediate level. There is also this channel. The stories in this channel are kind of interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, but I think the videos are created with AI, so I don't know if you would like to watch this kind of videos. I have a friend that do not like to watch videos used or created with AI, but it's good for me. It's not very bad. It's interesting, so yeah, I tend to listen to it sometimes. For writing practice, I like to use ChatGPT. I think it do the job. It's good. It's not bad, okay? So for writing, I go to ChatGPT. I ask them, or like I tell him that I have, for example, HSK 3 level. For your case, just say you have HSK, or you're studying HSK 1, you're on the, for example, third lesson. Ask him to give you some phrases that you can translate from English or from Arabic to Chinese, so you can use the grammar points and the vocabularies that you studied. After you finish a level, you can also ask him to give you some topics with the level that you finished, so you can write about. This would be also a bit interesting. You can also tell him to give you some vocabs, to give you some grammar points that you can use, and it's good for the level that you're on, or you're in. You're on, yeah. And lastly, we have speaking. Speaking is a bit of a problem. For speaking, you can either find a teacher that you can talk to. I use Preply. I don't know if you know Preply. So this is Preply. It's a website. I use it to teach English and to teach math. I also plan to use it to teach Chinese. So you can find either a native Chinese speaker or like any kind of teacher. Another way that you can do is to find like Chinese native speakers on Hello Talk. I used to like this website, not website, it's application, when I was learning English, and it was so useful for me. I tend to find some people that like native speakers or have an advanced level in English. I talk to them even if I don't really understand them or know what to say. I use Google Translate. It was my best friend, so you can do the same. If you don't know how to say anything, just go to Google Translate, write the phrase or the word that you want to say, and then send them to them, and also read the sentence so you can learn from it. One good way also that I like to use is watch some, I think this only works for like a intermediate level or above. You can go to any YouTube video with any topic, watch the video, or like watch multiple videos on the same topic, and then you can go to ChatGPT, ask him to give you some questions about this topic, and then you can use the knowledge that you've learned from these videos to answer the questions. Also, when you watch these videos, have like a paper beside you so you can have, or you can write the new vocabs that you've learned from these videos. So this is it for this video. I think I gave you everything. I'll try to include all the resources that I give you in this video in the description, like put some links, like useful links that you can use. And tell me if there is anything else that you want me to talk about in my next videos, or anything that would be useful for you as a language learner or Chinese learner. So see you in the next video and have a good day. Bye bye.